Welcome to our deep dive. We're going to be exploring, a really interesting collection of personal notes, and they span, several years. It's kind of like getting a peek into someone's personal journal, this treasure trove of thoughts. And what's fascinating is how these notes touch on all sorts of topics, from, building strong relationships to achieving success in business and personal life, even, tips for becoming the best version of yourself. Now, it might sound like a lot, but don't worry. We're going to break it all down. We'll highlight the most surprising and useful insights from these notes.
Yeah, and what I think is so interesting is how all these seemingly separate themes are actually, kind of intertwined. Like there's this connected approach to a fulfilling life that emerges when you read through them.
It's true. And one thing that really jumped out at us was this whole idea of a formula for lasting friendships. There's this equation that kept popping up. Friendship equals proximity times frequency times duration times intensity. What do you think? How does this, resonate with your own experience?
Right. It's so powerful because it highlights that friendships aren't, just about liking someone. You have to build them on shared experiences over time, and the more intense those experiences are, the deeper that bond becomes.
Totally. I think back to after university, and some of my closest friendships started to fade. Just because we weren't seeing each other as often or having those intense experiences, like, life took us in different directions.
Yeah, yeah, it's like that old saying, out of sight, out of mind. But the good news is these notes, they offer some practical advice, for building and maintaining friendships, even when life gets busy. Like one of the suggestions is to find 3 things that you genuinely enjoy doing, and then seek out real life groups centered around those interests. And the key is to commit to engaging consistently.
Yeah, being proactive. Right. Not just waiting for friendships to happen, but actively seeking out, those shared experiences. And this is especially relevant, I think, in today's world where so many people are working remotely and they might not have that sort of built-in social interaction that, comes with being in an office every day.
You're so right. Having friends outside of work and family is crucial. These are the people who really share your passions. They understand you on a different level. They can offer a different kind of support.
And speaking of support, the notes also had some really insightful observations about leadership and success in business. There was one statement, I mean, it was blunt, but it was brilliant. It said, "Titles don't make leaders, actions do."
Yeah, I love that. It's a great reminder that true leadership isn't about authority. It's about earning respect, through your actions, inspiring others. And I've seen it. I've seen so many people with fancy titles who just they don't lead effectively at all. And then there are others who step up and demonstrate leadership qualities even without a formal title.
It's about walking the walk, not just talking the walk, right? And these notes, they had this other great tip. I think it applies to life in general, not just to business. Always try to find value in what others might discard. It's about resourcefulness, recognizing potential where others might not see it.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's such a powerful concept. It's not just about, finding things that people have thrown away, but recognizing the potential in ideas and opportunities that other people might just overlook.
Seeing the potential in the unexpected. And speaking of maximizing potential, the notes also talked about how important it is to empower your salespeople. There's this line that said, "Arm your salespeople, they are the cash flow of the business." It sounds simple, but it's crucial.
It really is. It emphasizes how important a strong sales team is for the health and growth of any business, really. When your salespeople have the knowledge and the tools and the support that they need, well, they can thrive. And that drives the whole business forward.
It's about investing in those people, the people who are on the front lines, connecting with your customers, bringing in that revenue. And, it got me thinking about the importance of health and longevity. These notes have some great tips about things like making sure you're getting enough protein, incorporating HIT workouts, just building those sustainable habits.
And what's fascinating is how they connect physical health with mental and emotional well-being. Like there's this recurring theme of approaching each day with a calm and even demeanor, kind of a neutrality.
I love that. Neutrality. It's about not letting, the ups and downs throw you off balance, cultivating that sense of inner peace.
Exactly. And that focus on mental clarity and emotional stability, it really complements the practical advice on physical health. It's a holistic approach to well-being. It's recognizing that all of those aspects are connected.
Absolutely. It's about nurturing yourself, your body, your mind, your spirit. And I was all interested in the notes about skin health. There was an emphasis on these simple but effective practices: cleansing without over-cleansing, choosing affordable products, and managing stress to improve skin health.
Right. It's like our internal state is reflected in our outward appearance. When we're stressed, it shows up on our skin. When we're feeling balanced and at peace, it radiates outward.
It's true. Beauty comes from within. And speaking of inner beauty, there's a lot in these notes about personal growth and reinvention. There was this consistent message about embracing challenges, stepping outside your comfort zone, constantly seeking out, new experiences.
It's pushing yourself to grow and evolve, right? To become the best version of yourself. And there's this great quote from the notes: longevity compounds returns. The more you do, the better you get.
I love that. It's acknowledging that growth takes time and effort. It's not, an overnight success thing. It's about the cumulative impact of all those little steps, right? And it connects to another theme, this build us a strong personal brand.
Absolutely. The notes emphasize authentically sharing your journey, your experiences, embracing what makes you unique, letting your genuine self shine through.
It's about finding your voice, sharing your story, and the notes also delve into relationships and goal setting. They emphasize aligning your goals with your partner, choosing partners who support your ambitions, and recognizing when a relationship might be hindering your growth.
Right. And there's this question that really made me stop and think. You question your friends, but do you question your partner? It makes you examine how the people who are closest to us might be influencing our path, for better or for worse.
It's about being mindful of the company you keep and making sure your relationships are supportive and aligned with your values. There's another statement that I thought was so profound. Who you are with outside of work matters more than who you are with at work.
Absolutely. It shows the long-term impact of our personal relationships. These are the people we spend our most precious moments with. They share our lives, our dreams.
Right. It's a reminder that those personal connections, they're the foundation of a fulfilling life. And speaking of fulfillment, these notes, they offer a lot of wisdom about finding joy and purpose and meaning.
It's about recognizing that, a life is a journey, not a destination. It's about embracing the ups and the downs, the challenges, the triumphs, and learning from every single experience.
Absolutely. And one key takeaway is this: investing in yourself, investing in your relationships, your health, your dreams.
Yeah, it's about making choices that are aligned with your values and creating a life that feels authentic and meaningful. And, one of the most beautiful things about these notes is that they really do offer hope and inspiration for anyone who is seeking to live a more fulfilling life.
Exactly. They remind us that we have the power to create the life you want, to build those strong connections, achieve our goals, and become the best versions of ourselves. And in the next part of our deep dive, we'll be exploring even more insights from these fascinating notes. So stay tuned.
It's really incredible how these notes kind of weave together all these different aspects of life, like business and relationships, personal growth. It all comes together as this cohesive whole.
It's like the author was on this journey, this quest to unlock the secrets to a fulfilling life. And they were exploring every corner, sharing their wisdom along the way. And one thing that really stands out to me is this emphasis on authenticity, being true to yourself.
Yeah, that's so crucial. The notes, that they consistently encourage us to embrace our individuality, let our true selves shine through, and not try to conform to all these external pressures.
Right. Speaking of authenticity, there were some interesting insights about content creation, especially in a business context. And one thing that stuck with me was this idea of, optimize your content for your depth, your truth, not for width, like chasing likes or engagement or things like that.
It's about creating content that genuinely reflects your values, right? And connects with your audience on a deeper level. It's not about trying to please everybody, but resonating deeply with those who align with your message.
And the notes also highlight, the importance of actually delivering on your promises. There was this statement: brands are built in three ways: What you say, what others say, and what the person experiences. It's a reminder that actions speak louder than words, both in business and in life.
Oh, absolutely. Building trust is essential, and that comes from consistency between our words and our actions, you know. It's about cultivating a reputation for integrity, for being someone that other people can really rely on.
Right. And speaking of building trust, the notes had some great advice for leading teams, especially now when so many people are working remotely. And one of the things that resonated with me was, the importance of understanding why employees might be feeling burned out or underappreciated. Addressing those root causes rather than just treating the symptoms.
Totally. Recognizing that employees are individuals, with their own needs and aspirations, not just cogs in a machine. It's about creating a work environment where people feel seen and heard and valued.
Yeah, the notes suggested some practical things too, like using end of week reports to track progress, hiring people with a higher skill level, who can kind of self-manage and giving people a variety of tasks to keep things interesting and avoid boredom.
That's it, empowering people, right, to take ownership of their work, to feel trusted and respected. And recognizing that flexibility and autonomy can actually boost productivity, and job satisfaction.
In the notes, they also stress the importance of handling employee departures with grace and empathy. There was this powerful statement about how letting people go can impact the leader's mindset for the future. Even in difficult situations, we can still act with integrity and compassion.
It's true. It's about recognizing that business decisions have human consequences and that treating people with respect, even when, you're parting ways, it can leave a lasting impact.
Yeah, it's about leading with heart. And speaking of leading with heart, these notes have some incredible insights about personal growth and this importance of stepping outside of our comfort zones. There's this quote that I just love. You get anxious if you don't work on yourself. It's a good reminder that growth is essential to our well-being. Stagnation can lead to discomfort.
Right. It's about recognizing that we're meant to evolve, to learn, to expand our horizons. It's embracing the journey, that journey of self-discovery, challenging ourselves to really become the best versions of ourselves.
And the notes encourage us to take risks, to choose the epic on, and even if it means, facing that possibility of failure. There's this line, evidence over confidence. Having an epic story is about taking more risks. It's about not letting fear hold us back from pursuing our dreams.
Right. It's recognizing that true confidence is built on experience, stepping outside of our comfort zone, proving to ourselves what we're capable of, embracing the unknown.
And speaking of challenges, there were some really powerful insights about dealing with criticism and negativity. One piece of advice that I really appreciated was agreement nullifies insults. It's about not letting that negativity get under our skin, right? Choosing not to engage in battles that don't serve us.
It's recognizing that we don't have to accept every criticism or insult. We can, choose to detach, let it roll off our backs, focus on what really matters.
Right. And the notes also offer this refreshing perspective on failure. They encourage us to view it as an opportunity for growth, not as a setback. There's this quote that really captures this. You lose more life trying to optimize everything than just living it. What reduces your sleep keeps you awake. It's about not letting perfectionism, paralyze us, embracing imperfection and the lessons that come with it.
Absolutely. Recognizing that life is a journey, not a destination. Enjoy the ride, embrace the ups and downs, learn from every experience. And that reminds me of another idea from the notes that I really liked. It's that, the only insults that really hurt us are the ones that we believe.
Oh, that's so true. It's a reminder that, we have the power to choose how we react to other people's opinions. And our self-worth doesn't depend on what other people say or think.
It's about focusing on our own journey, our own growth, not seeking approval from everybody else.
And that leads to, this idea of finding your tribe, your people, surrounding yourself with people who support you. The notes encourage us to find those people who get us, who enjoy our weirdness. It's embracing that individuality.
It's about recognizing that you don't have to fit in, to belong. It's about finding your people, those who understand and appreciate you, your unique, quirks and perspectives.
Building those relationships that nourish us, and those relationships are really essential for a fulfilling life. And the notes have some beautiful reflections on the nature of happiness and fulfillment. And they remind us that happiness is not a destination, it's a way of being. It's about finding that joy in the journey.
Yeah, there's this quote that says, happiness isn't if I do X, it's while I do X. It's about shifting our focus from what we're striving for to the process of getting there, appreciating the present moment, finding that joy in those everyday experiences.
It's true. And happiness isn't something that we achieve. It's something that we cultivate. And part of that cultivation is picking those choices that align with our values. And the notes, they remind us that we can have or do anything, but not everything. We have to choose our status game.
It's about being intentional, right, with our time and our energy, choosing to focus on what truly matters to us, recognizing that we can't do it all, and choosing our priorities is key.
Yeah. And sometimes those choices involve, having some tough conversations. And the notes talk about the importance of communication, especially when it comes to relationships. There's this powerful line that says, the life you want is on the other side of a few hard conversations you're too afraid to have.
It's true. Avoiding conflict, it doesn't make it go away. You have to have the courage to, address the issues, communicate our needs and expectations, work through disagreements.
Yeah, build those relationships on honesty and respect and open communication. And communication also involves setting boundaries, right? Both in our personal and professional lives. The notes, they suggest keeping our yes muscle for what really matters. And recognizing that saying no to things that don't align with our values, it's essential. It protects our time and energy.
It's about being selective with our commitments, choosing to focus on what matters, and recognizing that our time and energy, they're valuable resources. And saying no is a form of self-care.
Yeah, it is. And self-care also means recognizing the value of work. Not just as a means to an end, but as an opportunity for growth and learning. And the notes, they offer this perspective. The output of work isn't money, but skills and lessons learned. No work is wasted.
It's a good point. It's shifting how we see works, from a chore to a potential source of fulfillment, of self-discovery, finding that meaning, whether it's paid or unpaid, and recognizing that every experience, even the tough ones, can teach us valuable lessons.
Absolutely. And those lessons, they contribute to our overall growth, our evolving definition of success. The notes encourage us to define success on our own terms, not chase external validation. There's this quote, your achievement isn't the outcome, it's the skill set you develop along the way.
That's it. It's a reminder that the journey is just as important as the destination, and the skills we develop along the way, they're valuable in themselves. It's about embracing that process of learning, of becoming more skilled, more resilient.
Exactly. And that process often involves stepping back, gaining a wider perspective. The notes have this really thought-provoking observation. If you zoom out far enough, you can't see the earth. It's a reminder that our problems, our worries, they can seem so small when you think about, the vastness of the universe.
It's about getting that perspective. Our challenges, they're often temporary. And there's a bigger picture. We can find comfort in that, in knowing that we're part of something much, much larger than ourselves.
Absolutely. And in the midst of all that vastness, it's important to cultivate gratitude for all the good things. The notes encourage us to be grateful, to recognize that our circumstances, they're often much better than we realize.
Gratitude can shift our perspective, and boost our happiness. It's about appreciating the simple things, the everyday blessings that we take for granted.
It's true. And that positive focus can extend to the language we use, to ourselves and to others. The notes talk about the power of words. Even small shifts in wording can make a big difference. Like, framing a work environment as competitive greatness rather than work or die. It creates a more positive experience.
It does. It's about being mindful of the language we use, both internally and externally, choosing words that uplift and encourage, and recognizing that language has the power to shape our reality.
Yeah. And choosing our words wisely, it really can create a more positive and fulfilling experience.
And that's what these notes are all about, creating a more positive and fulfilling experience. They offer guidance on building those strong relationships, achieving success in business, cultivating that deep sense of purpose.
It's a reminder that we have the power to create the life that we want, to build those connections, achieve our goals, and be intentional, right, with our choices, our time, our energy, design a life that brings us joy.
And as we continue to explore these notes, let's keep that spirit of intentionality, that commitment to creating a life that feels authentic and meaningful. There's so much more to uncover. So stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive. We'll be delving even deeper into these really powerful ideas.
Welcome back to our deep dive into these incredible notes. As we've been going through them, one thing that keeps coming up is this whole idea of self-awareness.
It's like the author was constantly trying to understand themselves better. Their strengths, their weaknesses, their values, motivations, all of it. And it's almost like this self-awareness, it became the foundation for everything else they wanted to achieve.
I think you're right. The notes emphasize that understanding yourself, it's crucial, for making choices that are right for you, building relationships that matter, and finding success on your own terms. And there's this quote that I keep coming back to. It says, "Don't try to solve the problem that is life. Live it. Accept reality." It's like life isn't a puzzle to be solved. It's an experience to be embraced.
It's about letting go of control, not trying to have all the answers. It's about accepting, the present moment with all of its complexities and uncertainties, and just finding peace.
Surrendering to the flow of life. And speaking of flow, these notes also had some interesting things to say about society, and the forces that shape our lives. There's this part where they talk about how, capitalist lifestyles and the mental illness, how they can kind of, be intertwined. Like the constant pressure to achieve and consume can leave people feeling, empty and satisfied.
It's a really good critique of systems that often put profit before well-being. It's like it's encouraging us to question things, to consider, maybe different ways of living and being in the world.
Finding that balance, right, between striving and peace. And there was another part that really struck me. It was about how, physical closeness, it used to bridge gaps between people who had different worldviews. And they argue that as communities have grown larger and more diverse, and we've moved toward more online interactions, we've kind of lost some of that shared glue.
It's interesting, right, how technology has kind of both connected and disconnected us. The internet has opened up all these amazing possibilities for communication, but it's created these new challenges for building bridges, across differences.
It's about being mindful of how we connect, both online and offline. And speaking of connection, the notes really emphasize that power of community, finding your tribe, surrounding yourself with people who share your values. And I love this quote. It says, "Adults don't exist. Most people in charge are grown-up children." It's like we're all just figuring things out as we go along, right?
Yeah, it's about embracing imperfection, recognizing that we're all works in progress, being open to learning and growing from each other.
Finding the humor in it all. And, in the midst of all this talk about society and community, the notes also remind us that it's important to take ownership of our own lives. There's this quote that says, "You are the only reason that you're not the person you want to be. Take ownership and don't blame it on others something, even though they had an impact." It's a call to action. It's like we're not victims of circumstance. We have agency.
It's about recognizing that we have choices. Even when those choices feel limited, it's taking responsibility, for our actions, our thoughts, our emotions, and realizing that we do have the power to change things.
Yeah, stepping into our power. And speaking of power, the notes also have some insightful observations about relationships between men and women. The challenges and the opportunities that come with romantic partnerships. And there's this one part that I thought was really interesting. It talks about, this growing loneliness that women are experiencing. And it suggests that, the modern world, the way we work and build our careers, it's made it harder for women to find fulfilling partnerships.
Yeah, it's a complex issue. There's so many factors at play. The notes, they really encourage us to examine those complexities, challenge assumptions and just approach relationships with intention, with self-awareness.
Have those honest conversations, right? Create relationships that work for both people. And, amidst all the complexities of life, the notes constantly remind us about finding, meaning and purpose. There's this quote that says, life takes on meaning when you change the world at your scale. It's like we don't have to do these grand things to make a difference.
Exactly. It's about finding our own way to contribute, to make a positive impact, even if it feels small. Meaning and purpose, they're not about, achievements and accolades. They're about living in alignment with your values.
Living a life that feels authentic. As we wrap up our deep dive, I'm just struck by how much we've uncovered from these notes. They've given us this glimpse into the human experience, offering guidance on so much.
It's true. And it's a reminder that the journey of self-discovery and growth, it's ongoing. We're always evolving, learning, adapting, and by embracing that process, with curiosity, with intention, we can create lives that feel meaningful, lives that feel fulfilling and authentically our own.
Thank you for joining us on our deep dive. We hope you found these insights as thought-provoking and as inspiring as we have. And remember, the journey continues. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.